We all been victims of social terrorism, haven't we? We all been victims of social terrorism. If you have a YouTube channel, if you have a Facebook page, Instagram page, a Twitter page, if you have a Snapchat, publications is you've probably been a victim of social terrorism at one point. Meaning that somebody attacked you, said something not nice about a post you made, exaggerated a statement you made, exaggerated about a video, or disagreed with you in a negative way that made you feel uncomfortable. So uncomfortable that you felt a little vulnerable at the time, right? You felt that you was out in the light, on the stage by yourself with millions of people watching you. And all of them standing there with eggs, throwing them at you, tomatoes on your face. And what could you do in this situation? What can you do when you're constantly being attacked? A lot of people right now, you go to work, you deal with different types of terrorism. You deal with terrorism from bosses, co-workers who attack you and make you feel less than. Because let's be honest, the strongest muscle in our body is our brain. But the most vulnerable part of our body is our mind. I often say you hit somebody, they'll heal. But if you hit them emotionally, that won't heal too soon. In fact, it'll take the longest to heal, if ever. So as we deal with these type of attacks, attacks from social terrorism, attacks from work, attacks from family members, loved ones, from the person in the store and the person that you don't even know, you have to wonder, how do you defend yourself against such attacks? How do you defend yourself against these things? Well, throughout history, we have defended ourselves in multiple different ways. We defended ourselves by putting up a wall. Think about it, people. People will use walls and doors, windows to lock people out, to keep people out of our homes, to protect the things that are most precious to us, whether it's our children or our valuables. But what about your mind? What do? You create a wall to protect your mind. You put a wall up inside your mind, inside your spirit, to protect yourself from people and the attacks. But what is the true purpose of a wall? Because a wall has multiple purposes, right? Well, you may say a wall is a defense mechanism. A wall is a defense mechanism to make sure that you don't get hurt, to allow you to not to get hurt, to not allow other people to attack the most vulnerable part of your body, which is your mind. But that's not true. Though many of us misconstrue a wall as a defensive mechanism, a wall only has two purposes. First purpose is to keep people in. The other is to keep people out. And when you think about that, you put that in the perspective of what a wall truly does. You put in perspective what happens when you deal with social terrorism and your true intentions of reacting. Then you think about it in the fact of how the world and the economy and the place we live in right now, the country we live in now, in the world we lived in, always dealt with interactions that made them, as well as you, uncomfortable. Let's explore all this, people. Let's explore this on a two-pronged attack. Today we're going to go two different places. Let's start with your mind first. Let's start with your mind because, like I said, it's the most vulnerable part of your body. And we often all use walls because we've all been attacked. If you posted something on social media, a picture, a comment, your opinion, most likely somebody came in. Maybe it was a troll. Maybe it's somebody you knew or a person you friended that you didn't really know and don't even understand why they sent you a friend request. But they come on and they got their little interesting point of view. And their point of view is not to have a perspective where you guys can debate about something logically, through intellect, but the fact to just get under your skin, because you know what? I just might be having a bad day or just might want some attention. And the best way to bring me happiness is to disturb or disrupt your happiness. Disturb your happiness. To turn your friends against you. Or to cause this message, a positive message, or this unlikely message that you just create just for the sake of creating, just to create discussion into a hotbed of trouble, of disaster. I'm going to hijack it, like Somalian pirates hijack ships going through the sea. I want to control this now. I want to take it, but my ransom is your happiness. You have to give me your happiness in order for me to give you your post back. We call that social terrorism, people. But we deal with social terrorism on so many different levels in so many different places. It's something that we can't avoid anymore, we can't hide from. Think about it. When you were in school, you used to hide from bullies. A bully used to fight with you on the playground. You know, eventually you go into school, go in the classroom. You're protected by the walls of the school. Bully messes with you on the school bus. You know, eventually you go home. You're protected by the walls of your home. But walls don't always protect people. They keep it in. Because you don't deal with the issue. I learned that by myself. I learned that by myself when I realized, sometimes when something makes me uncomfortable, instead of dealing with the issue, I try to put the issue off. until I do feel comfortable with facing it. I realize when we hide behind walls, we're not allowing information that's important to help us grow, to help us build, to help us deal with the consequences or the situation of social terrorists, to truly defeat them, to truly beat them, to get the information we need to defeat these people or these things. We do not allow that information to get in. You probably say, why do we not allow the information to get in? I mean, think about it. How does it get in when you're putting up a wall? Think about when UPS or Amazon drop off a package to your house. You eventually have to come from behind that door, behind the walls to actually get it, behind that fortress that you create to get it, because they can't just walk in. Because as we said, the walls that surround your house are there to protect you. The things that you have most precious, the things you love the most, the things that you want to keep safe. So those packages can't get in because the wall on the outside protects them. But then we think about the people we have on the inside. And we think about what we have inside. How we can't truly express ourselves. Because think about it. We talked about wearing masks before. In the Reflection of Us episode. Please check it out. Shameless plug. The point is, we talk about wearing masks and recreating ourselves for social media. Recreating ourselves for friends and for work. So that people do not allow people to see a true version of ourselves. Well, a true version of ourselves do not only hide behind masks, but sometimes wall. Because we don't allow people to get in. Whether we at work, when we're at happy hour with coworkers, when we're out with friends, family, when we're on social media, the same walls we use to protect the most vulnerable part of our body holds in what we truly feel. When you're sitting there in front of a psychiatrist, when you're a social worker, or anyone that's trying to help you, a lot of times we allow our wall that we think is protecting us to keep the very thing that's hurting us inside to remain in. Think about it. You're dealing with anger issues right now. You're dealing with all kinds of different emotions, mood swings, all kinds of different things in your life, and you're probably still trying to figure out where are they coming from. Why do I keep having all this built-in, pent-up anger? This frustration, all this stress that's inside me. Why has it not left me? I mean, I read books, I watched videos, documentaries, I had conversations with people. But why is none of this information is changing and allowing these things that's sitting inside me to finally be released? Why I can't let it go? And you can't figure it out for life you can't. I mean, think about it. You went and talk to your pastor, probably talk to a psychiatrist, pay a lot of money, talk to your mom, your dad, your best friend, even your household pet. You even had a conversation with your pet. You try to figure out why I can't get rid of stress. You went and bought a stress ball, went and took a drive. But that stress, the anger, that frustration, it still lives inside you and is raging on. And you can't figure out why you can't get it out. Well, people, the answer is very simple. I'm going to save you a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of gas. The reason that these things can't get out is because the same wall you have built inside you to protect you from attacks that's trying to get in has also contained the anger that lives within you. You understand? Did I say it slow enough for you to understand? The anger, that wall that you built. Say it again, that wall that you built to protect you from the attacks, from the social terrorists, from all these people who are trying to cause harm, to try to disturb your day, to try to disturb your peace. That wall you built inside you is the same wall that's holding in the anger, the frustration, the stress that was already built and left inside you. Before you built that wall, before you put up that wall, those attacks from the previous attacks left something. They left anger, they left frustration, they left fear, they left stress inside you. And then when you built the wall, you put brick by brick and you built that wall up, what you did was you contained all that without any way of it getting out. With no way of getting out. So there's no way to allow the stress out. There's no way to allow the beauty of you out. You can't let it out, so what it does, it rages inside you, it's beating on you. You ever get locked in like a closet or locked in a house or locked in a box or somewhere? Somebody ever lock you in something? You got locked in the trunk? Hopefully you did. You got locked in the trunk. That might mean that you was kidnapped. Now, I hope you wasn't kidnapped. If you was, call the authorities, all right, people? Point is, if you ever been locked in somewhere, maybe your little brother, your big brother, your big sister locked you in the closet or something. I don't know what you do with your spare time. But if they did, what do? You beat and you kick on the door. You beat and kick on the trunk. You beat and kick on wherever the walls is locking you in. That's exactly what the stress, the frustration, the anger is doing inside you right now. So when you're feeling your chest hurting, or your heartbeat, or your head hurting, or you're feeling that anger raging inside you, it's the anger, the frustration, the stress, that fear dying to get out of you, but the wall is containing it, so it's beating and punching and slamming on the wall, trying to break it down so it can be released and get out of you. It wants to get out, but you want to keep it in because you're afraid if you take down that wall, if you snatch down that wall, you're going to allow people in and you're going to allow more attacks in. You're going to allow more anger to build inside you. You're going to allow the most vulnerable part of your body to be exposed. But you don't understand also that wall serves another purpose. Isolation. Isolation is dangerous, isn't it? Think about it. Isolation is dangerous. Right now we're talking about limited social interaction due to this coronavirus thing. I know you don't want to talk about that because we're being bombarded with a lot of information, but right now social distance is important, people. But either way, when we're dealing with walls and creating walls inside of us, isolation is one of the most dangerous places because isolation keeps us away from others, but keeps us from getting help that we need, keeps us from dealing with the things that's bothering us, keeps us from fighting back. It allows the stress not only to keep raging on, the frustration, the fear to keep raging on you, it gives you more time to sit there and ponder, think about it. It don't give you the option to have people to help you fight back against that rage that's beating the hell out of you. You ever got into a fight and you took an L and somebody just stomping you out and beating you up and you looking around to your friends like somebody come in and help get this person off me? But you're sitting there isolate yourself so long that there's no one to help you? Think about that the same way when you think about fear, stress, anger, frustration, and when it's beating on you in the inside and it's trying to tear that wall down and you isolate yourself so there's nobody to help you. There is no psychiatrist, there's no mom, there's no friend, no family pet. There's no car to take a drive in. There's no outlet to all this. There's no assistance to this whooping you're taking. So isolation is dangerous. That's what walls do. Walls have multiple purposes, like I said. Keep things in, keep things out. What are you keeping in and what are you keeping out? What do you choose to keep in and keep out? That's what you got to ask yourself, people, and how you choosing to deal with it. I hope I didn't lose you in all this conversation because I know this is probably something boring, not what you expected when you seen the title or when you see the little thumbnail. You're probably expecting something a little different, right? So I'll give you a little something different. I'll give you a little tidbit of something different. And my perspective on a little something different as far as other type of walls is used in more of a physical way. But let's stay on task and let's stay on topic for 1 second, all right? So what do you do in this situation when you're dealing with walls? Because you're telling me, I'm sitting here telling you right now that building a wall inside you is not the smart thing to do. It's not the smart choice because it's not protecting you like you think it is. It's doing more to harm you than help you. So what do? Am I telling you to tear down the frames of your house? To open your windows and take your windows out? Snatch off your doors. Allow anyone in? No. Let me ask you a question. If you're not buying bottled water, what do? If you're drinking water out of a faucet, what do? You go to the supermarket, don't you? You buy a filter. What do they call it? The Brita filters. You put that filter on top of your sink. What it does, it filters out all the lead and all the negative things that your water company didn't filter out. All things that they missed. It filters out so you get cool, clean water. Think about that. Think about that when you're tearing your wall down. As you're tearing your wall down, see, what you gotta do is, you have to create a filter. Because see, like unlike a wall, a filter does allow things to get through. But it only allows certain things to get through. As we use with water, we talk about it get lead out, you get all the junk and all the chemicals that's mixed in your water, all the things that the water company just missed. The purifications that they miss, all the extra things they may put in, the chlorines, everything to make your water a little bit cleaner, or at least think that's a little bit cleaner. All the little shortcuts. But see, a filter doesn't take the shortcuts. It starts catching all the negative things that's trying to penetrate your body. Because see, like water, you can't always see the things that's hiding behind. Not unless you got a microscope and you put it on a microscope and looking at your water, but we ain't doing that, are we? That's why we invest in a filter. See, unlike life, that's what we need. We need to create a filter. A filter that eliminates and pulls out all the negative that's trying to be shot at you, whether it's through social terrorists, it's through your job, it's through your family members, your loved ones, the people who are closest to you. You need a filter so it filters out all the negativity that's trying to come on your life. When you see people on your social media, the social terrorists, or the trolls as I like to call them, who come on your posts and just try to push negativity. If you're on YouTube, you got a video, and somebody doesn't like your opinion, and they just not there to have a conversation about whether their opinion or in your opinion, but more to just some attacks and hope to get attention from it. We gotta create a filter, people. We gotta create a mental filter where we do not allow these attacks to get to our most vulnerable part of our body. We have to protect it with a filter because, like I said, a filter will let good information in while keeping bad information out. We need to keep a filter. A lot of us need filters on our mouths to be careful what we say, but that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother topic. I had a filter. I used to didn't have a filter, and my wife, she tells me I need to get back to those days when I have a filter because I'm telling you, I would say anything and be honest about my opinion. But I calmed down a lot with that. But it was due to others. Because the other thing mistake we make, isn't it? We try to keep in mind other people's feelings and disregarding ours. Once again, allowing the attacks to take shape and to destroy what's most vulnerable and what's most important to us. So we don't need walls, what we need are filters. So think about that as you go through your next day or your next problem. Think about that. Because see, a filter will allow you to filter out that stress and let that stress, it's going to eliminate that stress when you let information out and information in. It's going to filter out that stress, that frustration, that fear, that anger. All that worry is all going to be filtered out. And unlike a wall, it's not going to maintain keeping things in, and it's not going to keep negative things out or positive things out. It's going to allow information to get in, but only the positive information. It's going to allow information to get out, but only the positive. Because a filter is doing its job, which is catching and eliminating all negativity. But we said we're going to talk about a different type of wall today, because we're going to give you 2 for 1 today. I'm giving those specials. Giving those specials today, so I'm going to give 2 for 1. I'm going to give my opinion on another type of wall. Because we have another type of wall that's been put off, and we're going to make this real brief. We're not going to make it real political. Let's talk about the wall that's put up on the Mexican border. Let's just talk about it for 1 second, people. I know you don't like politics, and we're not going to get too deep into politics. Let's talk about history, all right? Briefly. We know about the Great Wall of China. A lot of us inspired to go to China one day to visit this beautiful site, which is now a tourist attraction. Great place. Great place to go. Well, you probably don't want to go to China now because of coronavirus and stuff. You're probably avoiding that this time. But we know when everything clears up and everything's get great, you might want to go to China. Right now, it's not a good time. Just don't go there right now. The Great Wall of China is not a good place to be right now. You might get coronavirus. I'm just joking. But the point is, the Great Wall of China is a beautiful site, historical site. But it also was a fortress in a way to protect people or attacks from coming in. So something that seems to be beautiful right now, a beautiful wall, historical site, place where millions of people come to visit, was once a way to keep people in and others out. We think about the Berlin Wall. Remember the Berlin Wall? A lot of you probably don't, probably too young, or probably just didn't care about the Cold War and the Berlin Wall, which separated East and West Berlin. Whereas one side was trying to keep out fascism, the other was trying to keep out communism. Russians was keeping on one side to try to keep out the Americans on the other side. 2 totally different sides of the wall, same city. The Berlin Wall eventually came crashing down, as the Cold War came crashing down. But similar like any other wall that lives inside you mentally, the point of these walls were to keep people in and to keep people out. It was used just like your mental wall to keep negativity in, but keep positivity out. To not allow communication effectively to take place. This is a brief moment in history. I mean, it is the Past to Present podcast, right? So we do have to talk about some history. But even now we're dealing with a situation where a wall is threatening to be built. It's talked about being built. Maybe put it on the back burner while we're dealing with a different pandemic right now, but we talk about the wall against the Mexican border to keep out immigrants from Mexico. Mexico, from entering this country. And you probably think, well, we don't want these people to impede on our life, the violence, the drugs, to impede on our lives, to disrupt our current way of living. We are at a vulnerable time right now when we think about all that's going on with the economy, all that's going on with the country. We must protect ourselves. We must protect ourselves from disease. Social distancing is at an all-time high and something that we all should practice at this point. And as we talk about building the border wall on Mexico, to keeping people out, but also to keep us in, we have to wonder, does a wall ever truly serve a purpose of protection? Truly. I always say, and I go back to my whole filter idea. I agree that even on the Mexican border, we do need to be careful of how many people and who we allow into the country. Sort of like your brain and your mind, where you have to be careful what information you are allowing in your mind and out your mouth. So it's important. It's very important to protect them. It's very important to kind of see and maintain and manage what's coming in and out. But shouldn't we use a filter? And I'm not talking about filter like you use on the water. Actually, we're gonna call Brett up and say, hey, we need a giant filter. We're gonna put a filter on the border to keep you out. I mean an actual filter and to monitor who you're coming out. Who's coming in and out of the country? Sort of like who's coming in and out of your mind. What's coming in and out of your life? In and out of your house. Think about it, people. Here's a time where you use a perspective where you think right now. How much of common sense are you truly using? How much of your strongest muscle in your body, which is your brain, you're commonly using? How much exercise are you truly giving it? How much credence are you giving people who only look to breathe negativity into your life? How much energy are you giving to them? How much energy are you getting into building a wall? When you're sitting there taking out your spackle, you're taking a brick, you're laying another brick, you're spackling, you're laying another brick, spackling, and you're blocking it out to the point where you're not allowing anyone to get in. We talked about in last week's episode when we took you on a beautiful date night. Did y'all all enjoy the restaurant I took you to? Hope the meal was nice. We used clean plates and fresh food. Nothing out of alleyway, nothing out of trash can. Clean plates, clean food, sort of like your life. We were at date night, we're refocusing on racism and where a person was living, and was we focused on hatred, negativity? No, we didn't focus on that at date night. We had our conversation at date night, wasn't it focused on trying to find out what we love and we like in ourselves? That's what we kind of focused on date night. You know, we didn't have no walls up on date night. We didn't come up with our walls, did we? We put our walls down, we broke them down. And why did we break them walls down? Because sort of in date night, what did we talk about? We talked about if we carried our baggage into a new relationship, what happened? What happened? I mean, we talked about we don't want the food served off of somebody else's plate. So if I don't eat my scraps when we on a date night restaurant, I don't want somebody else's scraps. Don't bring me half of what somebody else didn't eat. So if I go, we were on a date night and I ordered chicken parmesan, by the way. When I ordered chicken parmesan, I didn't want the guy who was sitting across from me who didn't finish his half of chicken parmesan brought to my table. No, I wanted a fresh order of chicken parmesan brought to my table at date night, and that's what we had, right? That's what I had. So when we think about this, when we're building up walls and stuff, when we're building up walls to block people out, isn't that similar to getting that half-eaten chicken parmesan? See, nobody wants to come encounter with you in a relationship and a friendship and have to deal with a wall because of what someone else did or someone else's problem. Nobody wants to come in and when they snatch down your wall, sit there attacked by all the frustration and anger and stress and fear that you've been hiding and hoarding behind that wall. It all attacks them at once, eliminating a relationship that had so much promise, has so much beauty, has so much potential. Think about that for a second. When you're building walls, how many relationships are you truly keeping out? How many people are you avoiding? How many opportunities are you avoiding? Because we've been focused on relationships so much, but what about opportunities? Talk about job opportunities, opportunities to buy a car, opportunities to travel, to grow, see your beauty of beauty. How many opportunities are you avoiding and you're giving up because you're hiding behind a wall because you think you're protecting yourself behind that wall? It's time now, today, not tomorrow, not next week, not even next year, not next month, not next payday, not next date night. It's time now that we start tearing down that wall. The same way that we put it up brick by brick, worry about your sledgehammer, your chisels, your pickaxe. Let's tear down that wall And let's free ourselves of the negativity, the stress, the anger, the frustration, the fear that lives inside us, that bubbles inside us, and is keeping us from truly reaching our true potential, the true beauty of our lives, so we can see all the packages that have been left at our front door that we haven't picked up and haven't opened yet. And those packages are not packages of negativity, of beauty, of grace. All things that you've been ordering, that you've been asking for, you've been speaking to existence. Because some of you out there have been speaking to a husband, a wife, a promotion, more money, a bigger house, family, pet, children. You've been speaking a lot of things into existence. Your business growing. Your business reaching its highest potential. We've been speaking a lot of things into existence. You've been speaking a car into existence. A brand new car in existence. You've been speaking of being a millionaire, a whole new wardrobe. You've been speaking a lot of things in existence, and a lot of these things are just sitting outside your house right now, sitting outside that wall that you're using to defend yourself, to protect yourself. All these packages are stacking up against that wall, and when you tear it down, we ain't only releasing negativity and fear out into the world. That's not what we're doing. We're releasing it out of ourselves, not to penetrate somebody else, but we're leaving it in the air. You ever smoke a cigarette, and when you let out the smoke, it just goes in the air and just disappears? That's what's going to happen with the fear and stuff. It's not going in somebody else's lungs. It's not going in somebody else's body. You're just releasing it out. And what you're going to do is, when you walk out and you tear a wall and you step outside that wall, you're going to look down and say, oh, where all these packages come from? It's all things you've been asking for. All things you've been praying for. They're sitting there waiting for you to open. Surprise, all things you've been asking for sitting there waiting for you. That promotion, that new job, that new car, that husband, that wife, those children, that new house. That $1 million that you've been waiting for. All the things you've been asking for sitting outside that wall. But you gotta tear your wall down to get it. You can't, you probably say, well, can't I put a door in and, open the door and just sneak out, grab a package, your hair, slam the door? It don't work that way. Because see, if you do that and you go in, you get your package, open it, you still getting it inside. So where are you going to spend your $1 million at? How are you going to really live in your house when you already hiding in the house? How are you going to open the car? Where are you going to drive at if it's hide behind? Where are you going to raise your kids at? How do you get milk, formula? How do you grow a relationship when you can't even go on date night because you're hiding behind that wall? So what we're going to do is, we're going to replace walls with filters. We're going to tear the walls down. We're going to get out here. We're going to pick up these packages. We're going to open them up, and we're going to live our best lives and finally be able to appreciate and enjoy all the blessings that we've been asking for, all the things we've been looking for, because they're all waiting for us. We don't need to look no more. We don't need to ask no more. It's all waiting for you. All you have to do is tear down this wall that you're hiding behind and get out. And for all you who right now talking about building a wall on the Mexican border, on the borders to keep people out, remember, the same way you're keeping people out, the same way you're keeping people in. We need filters. We need filters, because if you're living in America right now, 9 times out of 10, you too are an immigrant. You too escaped a place of poverty, persecution, whether it's through religion persecution, through you being a woman, through being race. Some of you were brought here against your own will, and you made a home. And I don't need to go into the variables of that, because if you don't know, then maybe you just need to read a book or check yourself. But the point is most of us, if not all of us, are immigrants. Whether it was us coming on our own or us being forced to be here. So think about that when you try to block somebody out, when you try to keep somebody out. Where would you be and who would you be? It said that we live in the greatest country in the world. The American dream, the slice of the American pie. Think about that. Think about who you trying to lock out of getting their packages, getting their happiness and their joy. Think about it. I'm Alan Great, and I want to thank you for joining for another episode of the Past to Present Podcast. I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. I hope y'all staying safe in this time and y'all practicing social distancing. It's important, people, that we protect ourselves, we protect our others, and everyone we love. Whether it's a neighbor that we get annoyed by or a person at work that just gets us frustrated. Right now, it's not about you. It's not about me. We have to practice social distancing and practice good health. Remember, soap and water is good at washing hands, and a little bit of hand sanitizer will kill them germs. Don't forget to use a Lysol. Those bacteria wipes. Don't forget. Little things you can do today can save your life tomorrow. But the most important thing we focusing on today is, let's tear down these walls. Let's get these packages. Let's create some filters so we can filter out the negativity and let go of the stress, anger, and frustration that lives inside you. And until next time I see you, people, I only got one thing left to say, y'all. Stay tuned. Peace.